open-mindedness and willingness. And our speaker is Mark S. from the UP.
It's the guy.
Good morning. I'm an addict. My name's Mark.
Hey, Mark.
See a committee member for a refund after this workshop.
There will be no refund.
You go now, no refund. First, thank you for coming. Thank you for being part of my life. I'm not a church person. Sunday mornings in workshops are the closest thing I come to that type of behavior. And it means a lot to me. Whenever I'm on the road in a retreat or a convention and there's a Sunday morning speaker, I don't care how far I got to go. I don't care what my day's going to bring. I like to go listen. Honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. It's a big order, man. Can't do it all at once. I just remembered that part. I want to. See, I want to hurry up and get done with this because I don't know what I got to do, but it ain't this. You know, I got something I got to do, and it certainly isn't getting honest, being open-minded, or becoming willing. I just don't want to get high. That's what I came in here with. You started telling me about spiritual principles. I wasn't ready to listen to those. All I heard was don't use. Don't use. And I think those are magic words that we use around here. And if we keep repeating them and we keep saying, keep coming back, that's what we do around here. We don't use and we keep coming back. And sometimes we fail at that. Sometimes we fail at the don't use. Sometimes we think we don't need to come back. And it's at those times that the repetitiveness, when thoughts will return, if you're lucky enough and the thoughts return to what we teach around here, you will remember, I need to go listen this time. Honesty, I don't know where I'm gonna bounce, man. I know I am. But honesty is like this. Like when I first come around, I think honesty is like, okay, you give me too much change, here it is, I'll give you some back. Even to do that, okay, even to think that, you gave me too much change, I'm gonna give it back to you, something is starting to change, okay? If I'm thinking of giving you your money back, it's your money, okay? And I'm not justifying, well, I'm in a line at a store, man. It's the store's money. Or I'm paying a bill in a restaurant and they undercharge or they overcharge me. That's where I used to go. I always look at my restaurant tab because if you overcharge me, I'm damn sure going to let you know. Okay, and I might, depending on where I'm at in the moment, I might do it in a really kind way. I might not. But if you undercharge me, can I apply that same thing? Can I say, hey, you forgot to charge me for the beverage. Did that come with the meal? And I mean, I've applied this at times, and people say thank you. That's all right. Don't worry about it. So that honesty, that's how I start thinking about honesty. The basic text tells us that, like when we start talking about honesty, it's about I need to quit doing what I'm doing. I need to try something different. honesty changes as we grow. Honesty today for me sometimes becomes, I've been doing this a long time and it's not really working out. Shouldn't I be farther along where I am? See, then I start beating myself up. And I don't want to tell you that I'm hurting, man. I don't want to tell you that I'm paralyzed by fear, because I don't want you to think less of me. And I don't know. It's to apply that honesty in everything is that's a big thing. It's a big thing. But honesty, if I start practicing honesty, eventually I will get feelings. I don't know what being dishonest, I might not know that that's a dishonest thing. I might be reacting right away. I'm just going to react. And all of a sudden I don't feel good about the way I reacted. See, that we're starting to get a grasp of these spiritual principles when those kinds of things happen. When the behaviors that I used to think were survival techniques no longer work, I'm starting to get a hold of things. Open-mindedness, that took a while. And it comes and goes. I can be really open-minded if everything's going good. And if I'm doing things that you tell me I'm supposed to do and the results are becoming the way I think they should come out, you know, I can be real open-minded. Man, this shit really works. Let it go wrong. No, then the open-mindedness is difficult. I didn't know. I like working. I like working somewhat irreverent, if you will. I like being irreverent. I like that. So a lot of times, when I didn't understand what was being said, I would go to the opposite. Okay, open-mindedness. What do you mean by that? Closed-mindedness, I understand. Okay, so that's kind of the opposite. So I got to try to exhibit behavior that opens my mind. And I remember the first time I was in here for a while, and I was in the restaurant business at the time, and we got sent to this training that the health department put on. And throughout my years in the restaurant business, I hated the health department because they didn't like the way I was doing things, you know. So they must be wrong. They're the health department. They were like the police. So I went to this training, and as I'm driving to the training, I'm just working myself into a frenzy, man, about being in this room with all these idiots. What the hell do they know? And things you guys had taught me started coming into my head about open your mind, man. And so I did. I by the time I got there, I had calmed down, and I really learned a lot in that training. And I went back to the restaurant and started applying those things. And what I realized is the health department is really protecting the public. See, it took me a long time. I thought they were just trying to shut my ass down, see. I didn't care about the damn public. I can cook good. Doesn't matter that the temperatures have to be right or else you get sick. You know, I can't throw it out. I start putting money, I start putting value on things, and I got to watch out about that. Willingness. The hell is that? What is willingness? I remember, I like this picture. I was somewhere and listening to somebody, and they said that if you take honesty, open-mindedness, willingness, and then you start writing step numbers next to it. Honesty 1, open-mindedness 2, willingness 3. Then you go back up to the top, 4, 5, 6. So you look at what steps, like willingness, 3, 6, 9, 12. And look at those steps. Man, did I have a bitch of a time with step 3. I hear people talking all the time about how step 3 was so easy. Seriously, it took me years, literally years. And that was because I was practicing open-mindedness so much, you know. So I talk about that because, see, again, I had to go backwards. And I don't want to go backwards. I'm a genius. I'm a genius. You just need to hang around me long enough, you'll know. I'm a genius. And so if you say we got to go forward and we're going to get through this going forward, the fact that I have to stop and go backwards means I'm doing something wrong. And if I'm honest enough to tell you I'm doing something wrong, you might kick me out of the club. Okay? And I'm already in the last house on the left, man. I don't know where I'm going if I leave here. Okay? I came here from Alcoholics Anonymous. That's where I came from. I spent 15 years there. And when Debbie got clean, I said, man, she's a dope fiend. I better go check out this NA thing, man. She needs it. I got mine. And all you guys said to me after 15 years, please keep coming back. Don't use. It'll get better. And I started to get, really, I did a serious 4-step after I got to Narcotics Anonymous. I mean, that's just my story, okay? Like I heard JJ take, maybe you shouldn't do it. Maybe you should. I don't really care. Don't use. Keep coming back. This is not a race. And we are a society that rewards itself by staying ahead of the pack. We got them, I love what Alanis Morris said, them transparent dangling carrots that we put out in front of each other. That if I reach this goal, everything is going to be okay and I'm going to be fine. And to reach the goal tells, for, you know, a lot of driven people, you reach the goal and then you start looking around, is that all there is? Really? In my little cabin where I'm staying, you'd never believe it to look at me now, but I actually do get up and look in the mirror in the morning. And I don't stay there long. But right on the mirror it says, you are beautiful. Some camper kid wrote that there. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. Positive reinforcement. Where does that come from, man? Positive reinforcement. Our book talks that we take positive action now. When we take positive action, things go good for us. I don't know what positive action is. Okay, on any given day, at any given time, I have no idea what positive action is. But I know this. Don't reach in them slots and expecting something to come out. Because, okay, don't go to the liquor store. Don't go down that street. There's really, what are you going to do, man? Show Pookie and Bobo you've been around for 90 days and you got a license plate on your car that matches it? What the hell is that, man? Positive action. See, these are, when you guys told me I had to leave everybody behind, I like filed that, man. I filed that. I didn't believe that. I certainly didn't believe that laughing, happy people were not getting high. I found nothing funny about desperation. Nothing. There was nothing funny about the desperation that I had when I got here. It took me a long time, man. I didn't jump into the whole sponsorship thing. You told me I had to, so I said, well, I'm not that bad yet. But I did do this. I got a home group. My home group is the Second Chances home group of Narcotics Anonymous. We meet on Thursday nights in Sault Ste. Marie. And I say this, and it's true. We if you don't come, we do call you, because we're so small, we need the dollar, man. You know? So, I mean, that's how we roll up in the UP, you know. We look, you know, I like, you know, I'm irreverence. I just like it because if I'm being irreverent, I am not throwing stones at Narcotics Anonymous. Narcotics Anonymous continually saves my life.
Amen.
But I really know that I got to be careful about how serious I take myself. So, and comedy is you know, it's a way to like deal with nervousness, man. To deal with, it's still approval-seeking behavior. I'm aware of it. I really don't give a shit. It's just how it is. I want you to like me, okay? Somebody was talking yesterday about people in the room that don't like us. If there's 10 people and 2 don't like me, that's the 2 I want to go by, because I want to know what's wrong with me. What's wrong with me? I will focus. This book here talks about it. This book does not lie. I can run all kinds of things. We can hear all kinds of, well, I've heard a lot of falsehoods in the rooms, but if it's in this book, it's not a lie. And I don't remember what I was thinking about. I'm sorry, I lost it. But it's not, it says it in this, whatever I was talking about, it says it in the book. Where? I don't know. I don't even know what the hell I was talking about. But there's something new. Hang around a minute, I'll convince you I do know. Yeah. Narcotics Anonymous saving my life. It continues to. I've had, you know, and it's amazing. Camp Mac is my home group of conventions. I started coming here in 2001. I have not missed it since. I'm very sad this year because of the loss of Chuck. I used to see Chuck definitely here, and another place that we hang out in September. So I always, on Memorial Day and Labor Day, I always saw Chuck, and I loved him, man. I love you, Chuck. I felt his spirit here. First night we were walking over to get the pizza, and I walked by that little fire pit, man. He was right there. But some of the folks that I've had the luck to talk with this weekend, it appears that a lot of us have had a hell of a year, man. And we do this, we talk about these spiritual principles, we pound on meetings, we talk about step work, because you're going to get a turn in the barrel, okay? And when you get a turn in the barrel, if you don't have a foundation, and maybe that foundation ain't like you think it should be, but just going through the motions will provide you with a foundation that when the bottom falls out, man, you won't get high. That's happened to me this year, okay? The bottom fell out a couple times. I'm reminded of last year during the storm when they shepherded everybody into Sarah Major. We went down to the beach, man. and one of the people with us, I mean, it was intense, you know. And one of the people with us walked out in the middle of it. Is that all you got? I'm like, no, man, settle down. This ain't, no, it might not be, you know. So my year has been kind of like that, man. As the bottom has been falling out, I'm thinking, okay, you guys told me my higher power won't give me any more than I can handle. And like 2 days later, bam, here it comes again. I found out, I work for the state of Michigan, and I've been having a very difficult time at the facility where I work the last year or so. Very, very difficult, to the point where anger is the only emotion that comes out when I go to work. I mean, the rest of my life was pretty balanced. I'm going to meetings, I'm practicing meditation in the morning, I have a sponsor, I'm talking to my sponsor, I'm following guides, I'm following my sponsor's direction sometimes. I'm not, my dog, when I walk in the house, the dog ain't running away. The wife still hugs me. So that tells me that what you guys have given me is working. Now what gets me tripped is I think I should be somewhere farther than what I am. Okay? I shouldn't be exhibiting anger. Literally, when these people would come and talk to me, my hands would shake. Literally shake. And look at, man, I work in a prison kitchen. I should be anyways, but they actually pay me to go there. And that's a gift. Thank you, Narcotics Anonymous. But there's not a lot of boundaries there, okay? You can pretty much say what you want to say and get away with what you want to get away with. And I have tripped out on supervisors in front of my prison crew, to where my prisoners are coming to me and saying, Smitty, what's up, man? You shouldn't talk to him like that. Fuck you, get old. I'm sorry. But see, that's I mean, we have no boundaries in a prison kitchen, so sometimes my language reflects that, and I'm trying not to up here. And thank you, I've been pretty good so far. But I ended up leaving. And going across the street, and I took a job that had no permanence to it, just to get away from where I was, because I knew that I didn't know for sure. I got no crystal ball. But things weren't right, and it was time to go. And I've tried, every tool you guys have given me, I've tried to apply it there, and it didn't work. It wasn't working. So it became time to go. And I stepped out on faith. Everything's online, man, so I'm clicking and zooming to apply for this job, and here comes the question. Have you ever been convicted of any misdemeanors? They didn't even say felonies, they just said misdemeanors. I said, no. Click, send, and then I start reading the shit that follows. Any falsification of this document will result in immediate dismissal. Oops. How do I get that back? And so that dishonesty worked on my head, man, for the longest. The fear that came into me, because I went home. I did go home, and I told Debbie, I applied for a job, but I might be out of a job before it goes down, because if they find things out. And then, because I thought, you know what, they hired me 23 years ago. I don't remember that question, but they didn't find nothing out then, so I haven't been convicted since I've been hired. Rationalization, justification, damn right. As it ended up, they hired me, they took the temporary job and made it permanent, and the people that I left, the warden came to me and said, what can we do to keep you? I said, it's a wrap, man. There's nothing that you can do, because the people I'm having problems with are part of your administration, and you're not going to get rid of them. It's better I go. And he said, well, I'm going to miss you. And I said, thank you. And right after that, I said, thank you, Narcotics Anonymous. And the first day on my new job, the warden was waiting in the lobby, and he welcomed me. And he said, I'm glad to have you on the team. And these things blow me away, man. They just blow me away. I've been a union leader. I have fought these people for 20 years. I've been the guy, when they discipline anybody, I've been the one in their face saying, you can't do that. But yet, I've handled myself in such a way, because you guys taught me how to behave, that they actually welcome me. And the guy that welcomed me, I've rock and rolled with him. The guy that told me he was sad I was leaving, I've rock and rolled with him. But we learn, and I think that's why because it's a rebellious kind of job, maybe that's why I did so well with it. See, rebellion, we talk about rebellion being a character defect, but there is a way to use rebellion in a positive way. We take positive action, you know? I mean, that's what we do. So I don't really know what's up right now. I do know that thanks to you, I didn't get high this year. And that is a fucking miracle, man. It's a miracle. I got to go to the literature. Well, first I'll read. This guy made this quote, and it's in this one book I use. And when I read this quote, I said, you know, this might outline the 11th step. I am not bound to win, but I am bound to be true. I am not bound to succeed, but I am bound to live up to the light I have. Abraham Lincoln said that, man. Abraham Lincoln said that. Find your light, man. Find your light. Live up to it. When you don't, when the light flickers, it's okay, because the wind blows, man. Just don't let the light go out. Just don't let the light go out. Even the darkness that I experience today is nothing like the darkness that I had the day before I walked into my first meeting. I've never experienced that darkness since I've gotten here. This is what the book tells me happens. In recovery, our ideas of fun change. We are now free to enjoy the simple things in life, like fellowship and living in harmony with nature. We now have become free to develop a new understanding of life. As we look back, we are grateful for our new life. It is so unlike the events that brought us here. If you haven't embraced this yet, it's all right, man. If you have embraced it and you think you've failed for some reason, the fact that you're sitting in this room gives us hope. And that's what we deal here, man, is hope. So I'm really grateful to be a part of this. And thank you. Thank you.
Before opening the floor for sharing, remember that you are being recorded. If you wish not to be recorded, please let me know so that the taping can be turned off. Before I invite you up to the mic, I just wanted to share something that happened last night that I thought was really cool, and it has to do with honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. There was a lady who had inadvertently dropped a significant amount of money out of her pocket at the speaker meeting, and a guy found it. And he said, I found some money on the floor. What do I do with it? And so we gave it to Mark and said, sooner or later this person will show up for it, right? And I was over by the auditorium talking with the speaker, and this lady comes walking by and says, did anybody find any money? And I says, as a matter of fact, yes. How much did you lose? And she said, I don't know exactly, but it was like, this amount. And I said, that sounds like your money. Go talk to Mark. And she did, and she got her money back, and they lived happily ever after. Yeah. But isn't it awesome that here, amongst a bunch of liars and cheats and thieves, that can even happen? So the microphone's open. We've got about 20 or 25 minutes, so come on up and share your experience with honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness.
Denise. Thank you.
Good morning, my name's Denise and I'm an addict. Give me a minute to regroup. Honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. For me, the part that hits is the honesty, because, that's integrity for me, and that is who I am today. And integrity in me is doing what I said I would do long after the resolution to do it has left me. So that means I will stand in my recovery on the days I don't want to be in recovery. And I will go on that 12-step call on the nights I don't want to get out of my warm bed and go see that addict to save her life. And the willingness to go to a hospital that is 75 miles from my home to speak to a bunch of addicts and give them just a shred of hope. For me in my recovery, that's how I work the willingness part of it, and sponsoring women. And I've been on the phone with a man who was walking me through his suicide, and it was the most powerless feeling of my life, that there was nothing I could do. And I had to sit and listen to this man do what he was going to do. And he did what he was going to do with me on the phone. And that taught me so much that night about powerless and willingness. Because I had the willingness to stay on that phone when I could have hung it up, because that rent space in my head every day. What could I have said different? How could I have reached out? How could I have changed his mind? But we all know as addicts, we're going to do what we're going to do. And nobody's going to change once we set our mind to doing it. And it's that way with our recovery. I've made my mind up to be a clean, responsible adult who reaches out to other people to give them hope. And I continue to do that day after day. And it isn't about you, it's about me. Because helping somebody helps me. Standing up here today sharing when I'm like snotting and crying and a hot mess, that just shows you that I'm vulnerable and I'm real. And I too have my moments. The honesty part, I'm so honest, people don't like me in Narcotics Anonymous, okay? I'm outspoken and I'm very truthful. If you don't want to know the truth, don't come to Denise, because I will tell you the truth. And I'm not always brutally soft and pink, okay? I have a bit of a rough edge to me. So in Narcotics Anonymous in Macomb County, Denise is known as the person you really don't want to go to unless you want the truth. Because I stand in the truth and I believe that that is the foundation of my recovery. Because I can't remember shit. So if I lie to you 10 minutes from now, I'm not going to remember that lie. But if I tell you the truth 10 minutes from now, if I stick to that truth, it's going to come out the same way it did 10 minutes ago, because it's the truth. And I don't have to worry about what the hell lie did I just tell you, because I told you the truth. And the truth will always come back to you, because it is what happened and it's the truth. But it's not that way with a lie. With a lie, you got to recreate what you said 10 minutes ago, whether it was purple, yellow, or you were sideways, or in the library with Professor Plum and the candlestick, you know what I'm saying? We all played that Clue game. Serious. And the willingness to step out of yourself and step in somebody else's moccasins and see the road that they've walked without judging them, without standing back and ridicule them, because we really don't know their trials, tribulations, or the crosses they're bearing. That's huge. That is huge. That's willingness to have empathy for another addict in these rooms that are going through something. We have no idea what crosses we're all carrying. We all don't stand up here and say, yeah, man, this cross has just got me down this week. We don't all do that, but we all have them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm learning right now to actually respect and look at other people's crosses, because I'm always so busy carrying mine that I don't have the empathy that I need to have for everybody else. I haven't walked a mile in your moccasins, but I know your moccasins are full of sand just like mine, and they get heavy at times. and the willingness to not so much as gossip and ridicule and sit back and go, wow, that's our sex. And we all do it. Everybody up in here can't sit here and tell me you don't do it. It's human nature. But to realize it today and to try and correct it, that's part of my foundation in recovery. I don't have to sit back and ridicule you or judge you or put you in a certain category. Today I can love you for who you are. You're a recovering addict just like me. And the honesty, as long as I tell the truth, things go pretty well in my life. It's when I start getting sideways that things get sideways. And the openness, I'm so open, everybody knows Dee. I'm very open. I do H&I, which is hospitals and institutions. I've been doing them since 1996. So I speak on a regular basis in front of many people and tell my story. Not because I like to hear myself talk, I don't. It's because I'm hoping that one person out there will feel me and maybe get a shred of hope. That's all I ask for. God bless.
Thanks.
Morning. I'm Frank. I'm an addict.
Hey,
Frank.
I appreciate hearing what I've heard this morning. Honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. When I first made the decision to get clean, it was a struggle for me, all three of those things, because of the way I was living. I thought that going to get clean, I was going to go to one of those places we go for 30 days and maybe 90 days, and that was going to be it. I was going to go back, I was going to have my son, and everything was going to be good. So I was willing to do that. And then when I got where I was going, my sister told me to keep an open mind, be a sponge. My sister's a therapist. Her two sons, who I used to party and do things with in Hawaii, were in recovery. So I listened to her. I went with an open mind. And these people were talking about what we call aftercare, which would be another place that we go to and live in a structured environment for a little while. I wouldn't hear nothing about that. But as I applied a little bit of open-mindedness, my willingness expanded. Okay, well, these guys know what they're talking about. If they're talking about aftercare, they know what I probably ought to go to aftercare. But I'm only going for 6 months. So I put qualifiers on my willingness. I went and I signed a contract saying, okay, so I signed a contract for 6 to 9 months. I expanded a little bit yet again. My willingness was growing. As my open-mindedness, I let it work a little bit, my willingness began to expand. Now I started getting some hope because I saw some things. I know hope's a little bit off topic, but I'm going there because it was my honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness that gave me the hope. My son was in here for a little while, listening to Mark speak. And I'm going off topic here for a second to come back. So run with me down this rabbit trail for a second. I told him when we got back together, because I've been away from him for 2 years. My sister told me when I made this decision to get clean, I will watch your son, because this was not a court-ordered thing. It was just, if you'll do that, we'll take care of Riley. I said, okay. When I first got back together with him, one of the things, other than, Daddy, you talk different, you sound different. I said, son, you can understand what I'm saying. Anyway, he said, what is it that you learned? And those were the first 3 things I told him: honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. So when you began to speak on that, he looked at me and he's like, Dad, he said, you told me about that. I said, yeah. So he sat and he listened for a little while, as long as an 11-year-old could. And I shared with him a little bit about that. So as I went down, the first thing they told me in that 30-day period was I had to get honest with myself. Never mind everybody else. I had to be honest with me first. And after that, things would begin to fall into place. And that's why the open-mindedness gave me a little bit of willingness. So, in another 9 days, God willing, we will have 2 years. And I say we because it's a we program. I couldn't do it without the program, you guys, and my higher power. And this honesty, open-mindedness, willingness thing. Last week, a week from yesterday, I got a chance to make amends to him. And on the way here, because he's always lived with me. Even when my ex and I got separated 6 years ago, he lived with me, and I've been there physically. And before I moved from Wilmington, which is where I was in aftercare for a while, and then I actually worked there until things worked out to where I could come back here. But I told them that I was excited about coming to be with my son, not only physically, but emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. I got to be there, all of it now. So I made amends last week. We're packing up to come here this weekend, and he looks at me and says, "Daddy, I'm so glad you're here." I said, "Me too, son." And he looked at me and said, "No, Daddy, I mean here." It's honesty and open-mindedness and willingness that brought that. So I wanted to come up here and share that with y'all. And I appreciate if you let me share. Thanks.
I guess if there's nobody else, does somebody have the Just for Today card? Want to come up and read it, please? And then we'll close.
My name's Mike. I'm an addict. Hey, Mike. What's up, family? Tell yourself, just for today, my thoughts will be on my recovery, living and enjoying life without the use of drugs. I'll have faith in somebody in NA who believes in me and wants to help me in my recovery. I'll have a program. I'll try to follow it to the best of my ability. Through NA, I'll try to get a better perspective on my life. I'll be unafraid. My thoughts will be on my new associations, people who are not using, who have found a new way of life. So long as I follow that way, I have nothing to fear.
No fear.
We'll gather.